We've all been lied to. Told that success lives in bank accounts, diplomas, fancy titles, fast cars, or the number of zeros after your name. That if you grind hard enough, sacrifice enough, push long enough, you'll finally arrive at happiness, at peace, at success. But the truth? That definition has been broken for decades. And there's one study, just one, that has quietly exposed the truth in plain sight for over 80 years. The Harvard Study of Adult Development, the longest-running study on happiness and success in human history. And what it found? It's not what you think. It wasn't about how much money you made. It wasn't how famous you were. It wasn't how smart you were. The number one predictor of a successful, happy, fulfilled life wasn't any of that. It was relationships, deep ones, honest ones, real ones, the kind of connection that grounds you when life gets heavy, that lifts you when success feels empty, that keeps you alive, not just physically, but spiritually. And when I first read that, I'll be honest, it hit me hard, because I'd spent most of my life chasing all the other things. The grind, the status, the goals. I was so busy trying to make it that I didn't realize I was starving for connection. You can win the world and lose your peace. You can hit every goal and still feel alone. And if your version of success leaves you surrounded by strangers, exhausted, burnt out, and disconnected from your own soul, that's not success. That's just achievement dressed up like meaning. But this study didn't just make claims, it tracked people over their entire lives. It followed Harvard students from the 1930s through war, marriage, fame, failure, aging. Some became wealthy, some lost everything, some lived long, some died young. But what separated the fulfilled from the frustrated? It wasn't wealth, it wasn't titles, it was the quality of their relationships. Not the number, the depth, the vulnerability, the presence. People who were more socially connected were happier, physically healthier, and lived longer. Loneliness, on the other hand, was just as deadly as smoking or obesity. Let that sink in. Your health, your happiness, your success, it's tied not to what you have, but who you are connected to. But here's the kicker. This isn't just about romance. It's about belonging. Do you have people who see the real you? Do you have spaces where you don't have to perform? Can you be fully you, messy, raw, unfiltered, and still be loved? Because if you can't, no amount of money will make up for that ache. And most people, especially high achievers, ignore this truth. They pour themselves into their goals, thinking they'll build connection after the launch, after the raise, after the house. But after never comes. They wake up 5, 10, 20 years later with the career they chased, and a life they never built. I almost became one of them. The calendar was full, the inbox was overflowing, but the heart? Empty. So I started asking myself harder questions. What's the point of success if I have no one to share it with? Who knows the real me, not the one I post, but the one I hide? When was the last time I called someone not to talk business, but to just say, "Hey, I see you"? And when did I stop letting people in? That was the shift. I stopped chasing and started connecting. I called people I hadn't talked to in years. I reached out to mentors not for advice, but for presence. I started saying, "I love you," more. Even when it felt awkward. I opened up. I shared what I was really going through. Not filtered, not polished, just human. And you know what happened? My life started to breathe again. Not just my calendar, my heart, my creativity, my energy. Everything started growing when I stopped pretending I could build success alone. Because no one wins alone. Even if you think you can. Even if you try. The deepest parts of you weren't made for solo missions. They were made for connection. And if Harvard took 80 years to prove that, maybe it's time we started believing it. In part 2, I'll walk you through how to build this kind of connection in your real life. No fluff. No awkward self-help advice. Just real tools to help you build friendships, networks, and communities that actually feed your future. But before that, I want to leave you with this. Success isn't measured by what you stack. It's measured by who you stand with when life gets real. You don't need more followers. You need more people who'd come find you if you disappeared. That's the real flex. That's the real freedom. And that's the kind of life worth building. Now that you know the truth, that real success isn't found in hustle or hype but in human connection, what do you do with it? Because knowing is nothing without building. You can't just admire this truth. You have to install it. You have to rewire your life around it. And that means changing how you see connection. how you prioritize it, how you live it. Step 1. Make connection a daily practice, not a someday project. You can't build relationships on leftovers. Leftover energy, leftover time, leftover attention. So starting today, you put connection on your calendar, not after the work. Before it, one text, one call, one message. Not when you need something, not when it's convenient, but consistently. Reaching out not to network, but to nourish. You send a message just to say, I'm thinking about you. I appreciate you. You crossed my mind today. That's how bonds are built. Tiny moments, repeated. Step 2. Stop performing. Stop editing your life so much that nobody actually sees the real you. We've been taught to curate, to polish, to perform strength. But what we crave, what makes us connect, is realness. Vulnerability. The courage to say, I'm not okay today. I'm trying, but I'm struggling. I don't have it all figured out. That kind of honesty creates trust. And trust is the foundation of everything meaningful. Step 3. Build depth over width. You don't need hundreds of friends. You need 2, maybe 3 people you can bleed truth to. People who don't flinch when you're raw. People who celebrate your wins and sit with your losses. You build that by going deep. You ask better questions. What's really going on with you? What are you not saying right now? How can I show up for you? And when you get asked back, you answer. Step 4. Create rituals of connection. In your week, in your month, that might look like Sunday dinners, monthly check-ins, quarterly retreats, group texts that are more than memes. It doesn't have to be fancy. It just has to be intentional. If you don't create structure for connection, life will steal your attention, and you'll wake up 5 years from now wondering why you feel empty surrounded by a sea of acquaintances. Step 5. Be the initiator. Stop waiting to be invited. Stop waiting to be chosen. Stop saying, well, no one reaches out to me. Be the one who starts the fire. Text first, call first, plan the meetup, send the voice note, not because you're desperate, but because you care. Because most people are lonelier than they look. Most people are dying for someone to see them without filters. Most people are carrying weight with no place to set it down. You might be the only one in their life brave enough to open the door. Do it. Step 6. Build your inner circle with intention. Audit it. Seriously. Are you spending time with people who grow you? Or people who drain you? People who challenge you with love? Or people who enable your smallness? If they mock your dreams, doubt your courage, dismiss your truth, it's not a friendship. It's an anchor. Cut the rope. You're not being rude. You're being responsible. Because your environment is your future. And the people you let in shape the story you live out. Step 7. Connect across purpose. If you want deep relationships, stop bonding over complaints. Stop gathering around gossip. Stop sharing energy with people who only want company in their misery. Start connecting through purpose, through progress, through becoming. Join spaces where people are growing, learning, building. That's how you raise your frequency and your friends list. You start becoming the kind of person who attracts real ones. Step 8. Get uncomfortable. Connection isn't always cozy. It's awkward. It's inconvenient. It takes effort. And that's why most people stay isolated. Because it's easier to scroll than to call. Easier to stay busy than to open up. But no breakthrough ever happened in your comfort zone. So stretch, risk, be seen. And finally, step 9. Forgive. The past, the people, the moments that broke your trust. Forgive. Not to let them off the hook, but to take your power back. You can't build a future of connection with walls built from the wounds of your past. Heal, grieve, and then release. You're allowed to begin again. And this time, you build different. You build real. You build slow, but you build deep. And here's the beautiful part. When you start to build connection like this, everything else gets better. Your stress goes down. Your health goes up. Your creativity flows. Your motivation returns. Why? Because you weren't meant to carry success alone. You weren't meant to suffer in silence or win in isolation. You were meant to belong. And that's the real takeaway from Harvard's 80-year experiment. It's not the richest who win. It's not the most famous. It's the ones who never stop choosing people over performance. The ones who prioritize presence over perfection. The ones who realize, before it's too late, that life's greatest return on investment will always be the relationships you fought to build. That's what makes a life successful. That's what makes it worth living. Not what you earned, but who you loved, and who loved you back.